Hi everyone. So this video lecture will be covering chapter 1, which is the introduction to research out of your research and medical literature for health professionals. I really do like this textbook, and I hope you enjoy it also. So research sometimes can evoke a reaction in people because they see research as mysterious or difficult, and sometimes they close their mind to it. But recognizing that research is not as difficult as people may believe is something that I want you to just kind of um, learn as we begin our journey through research. The objectives for this chapter are to, 1, define research, to describe types of research, to 3, describe and discuss the importance of research in health professions, and then 4, to begin to develop a scientific approach to study and practice. These are the benefits of research, and there are benefits. Research provides an opportunity to explore, understand, and explain practice. It helps healthcare professionals, such as yourself, it helps enhance your clinical career and improve our patient outcomes, and that's number 1 for healthcare professionals. And then research, if you understand research, it helps you interpret and evaluate literature that's related to patients and treatment options. As I mentioned earlier, that word research can conjure up the following images. Your textbook kind of brings up a few. It conjures up an image of an individual hidden away in a lab doing something unrelated to everyday life. Or maybe you may be thinking that it's boring work that's being forced on you as a student in the program. That even the pursuit of this information has little application in real world and what we really are actually doing on the floors. And then research is not something a healthcare professional does in clinical practice. And so we're going to prove that to be not really true. As far as for you, I want you to recognize that for some it is and may be difficult to understand because there's often formulas and language that other researchers comprehend. And we can also find that sometimes the research findings are contradictory. A lot of times when you're looking at a journal article and you see a study in that journal article, they'll say need for further research or further study. But recognize that research provides the basis for your practice. It will be a part of the day-to-day job in the future. And practice can only advance by applying the evidence of what works. Folks, we're all about evidence-based practice. So that's the importance of research. Research equals curiosity because there is a question needing to be answered. And we do that in the form of research. Research can be informal and without systematic constraints. Just looking up a word in the dictionary or doing a Google search about something can be an informal type of research. When you learn about research and how it works, this will help relieve some of the anxiety, which I'm hoping will happen as you progress through the book and through the course. And it has the potential of increasing your ability to appreciate and enjoy the process of research. And then learning research skills begins in training. So that's what we're going to start. We're going to start that training process. Research provides information that's needed to build on a fund of knowledge that guides students as healthcare providers. So what we're doing is we're building on this knowledge base that's already there, right? We know that for instance, people require mechanical ventilation. Well, did you know that back in the 80s, it was nothing for us to set our patients on a tidal volume of 800 cc's to a liter? We don't do that now, and it was research that helped healthcare professionals learn of the damage we were doing by using such high tidal volumes. Healthcare professionals should be lifelong learners. Research helps that process, and it also helps you learn how to learn. We call that metacognition, and to meet those future healthcare challenges. Now, research does include several processes, or there is a process. It involves data collection. There may be statistical analysis, there's interpretation, and these can all be quite daunting. And so this leaves a lot of healthcare professionals of the mindset that they'll just leave research to others. But as a healthcare professional, we should be able to interpret and apply that research as steps in our patient care. Research takes on many forms. It can be categorized in various ways. There are many study designs or methodologies that are available. Should add to our knowledge at every level and in every format and design. And learning research processes offers higher likelihood of finding answers. As opposed to this quick search, when we go through that research process, we're more likely to find the answers. On page 5 and 6 of your textbook, table 1.1 talks about various types of research. And this is what we'll be focused on in the textbook and as we go through the 8-week session. The first is pure, where we're primarily looking at theory development. We've got experimental, where you're doing your blind random assignments and looking at an intervention. There's clinical, primarily looking at drug trials. There's applied, where we're using time studies. There's descriptive, which is more of a qualitative approach, where we're looking at perceptions, characteristics, patient responses. And then there's laboratory, which is your basic science research. In developing a research project, we first want to really kind of look at design. And design depends on knowing what is expected, identifying clear parameters, following organizational guidelines. So, for example, if you choose to do a project that involves human subjects, there is a process that the college or an approval process that is needed to begin that research, that form of research. Also recognize that many organizations prescribe scientific writing formats, and the institution you may be working with or who's sponsoring your research may assign the topic and the specific design or methodology. Now, developing your research project depends on many factors. There's time, effort, cost, resources, and ability. You also have to look at your own personal attributes and interests, your own resources, and your expectations. Take a look at the strengths of your own abilities and how you will accomplish the project. Another thing when you're developing a research project is to seek out people with skills in the area of interest and ask for their help. You'll be surprised. Individuals that are focused and really enjoy research really are interested in helping others in their research. Now, this is figure 1.1, and it's on page 8 of your textbook. And it's an outline of the scientific process. And the scientific process begins with the truth that is within the universe and the identification of a problem. It goes or moves down to defining the problem and then developing a research question, a hypothesis, a null hypothesis. Most of you will be developing a question. From there, we look at literature that is already out there, see if there is an answer in that literature. We'll go and then develop a design and methodology. The next step would be data collection, then analysis of that data, gaining results, interpreting that data, drawing our conclusions. And once we have the conclusions, what's really important is being sure that we disseminate that information either from a poster, publication, or a presentation. All right, so here's how we get started. You want to make a list of your interests, then prioritize in order of importance those interests. Next will be to revise the list based on your capabilities. And then again, you'll revise that list based on the things that are important to the effort. And then you will again, from that list, reprioritize it on what is important to society or health. You make a decision about what can be accomplished. And then once you see that you have this surviving or central topic, then that is the basis of your research project. Once you have your topic, you will develop a timeline for that study, and then you'll get started. Doesn't seem too bad, right? So hopefully this brief introduction piques your interest and makes you feel a little more comfortable with research. See you in chapter 2.